Hi everyone, hope you're all doing great. Today we're going to go through the important submenus of the Edit menu together. The Undo and Redo submenus are there to fix any mistakes you might have made in the software. Undo takes you back to before the change you made, and Redo lets you move forward again if you went a bit too far with Undo. Let's check it out in action. First, we'll make a change and then roll it back to how it was before. But keep in mind, to use Redo, the undo action needs to happen after frame 1. That's because frame 0 doesn't allow certain changes, like animating. Now let's redo the action we previously undo. Alright, let's move on and learn about the other options together. Cut lets you move a shape from one place to another by copying it while removing it from its original spot. Let's test it out. The shortcut for that is Ctrl+X. Copy is pretty clear about what it does. Let's test it out. The shortcut for copying is Ctrl+C. The next option is Paste, and its shortcut is Ctrl+V. The next option is Paste Relative, which pastes not just the shape but also the properties of a layer that were copied earlier. Let's check it out. To test most features, it's better to be on frame 1 since some software functions don't work on frame 0. Now I'll make some changes to the position of my shape in the timeline. First, I'll copy the shape so I can also copy its properties later. Now let's assume these properties aren't in the new layer, and we want to bring them over from the previous layer. Actually, you can do this with the regular copy-paste shortcut too, but I wouldn't recommend it. I think they just wanted to add a few more submenus. The clear submenu is for deleting, but you can also do this by pressing the delete key on your keyboard. As I mentioned, most of these submenus aren't that useful, and the explanations are just to help you get more familiar with the software. The copy layer option is used for copying layers in the software, but there's a shortcut button for it in the layers window, which really makes things easier. But if you want to paste it into a different project, you'll definitely need to use this submenu. The Normalize Layer Scale option is used to tell the software that the new size of a layer is now its original size after resizing. Just keep in mind, when you press this button, you won't see any visible changes. I've never really needed it, and even in Moho's documentation on their website, it's not really mentioned. Then we have Select All. When you want to select all the points, bones, or anything else, you just need to select one of them and hit Select All. It'll pick all the things of the same type for you. Let's check out an example together. The shortcut for that is Ctrl+A. Here's another example. Select None deselects everything you've selected. The next submenu is Select Inverse. It ignores everything you had selected and selects the things you hadn't selected while deselecting the ones you had selected. Here's the practical example. Select Connected selects everything that's connected to the shape you've chosen. For example, if you select a bone, it will select all the bones connected to that one. Let's check out an example with points. Here's an example with bones. Now we'll create a bone and won't connect it to anything, and you'll see that Select Connected doesn't apply to it. To make sure our bone isn't connected to any other bone, first we select the Select tool and click on an empty spot on the screen. Then we use the Add Bone tool to create a bone. As you can see, when we press Select Connected, nothing happens because the bone isn't connected to anything. The next option is Edit Keyboard Shortcuts, where you can view the software's shortcuts or customize them to your liking. If you hit the New button, you can create a list of your own custom shortcuts. And if you don't want the shortcuts you created, you can delete them by pressing the Delete button. By the way, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel because we post videos every other day. Alright, let's create a new shortcut list. I'll choose a name for it and hit OK. Just like that, my custom shortcut list is ready. Now you can either delete it or revert it to the default settings. The next option is Preferences, which is related to the software's settings. It's better to learn how to use some parts of it. It has different sections like Edit Color, Tools, Appearance, and many other parts. For example, in the Appearance section, we can change the color of the software and its text. Personally, I think the default settings are much better, so I'll revert it back to the previous state. That's it for the important submenus of the Edit menu. Don't forget to like and subscribe.